In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I like to weave in my ends.
Hi, this is Katie, and welcome to the Nodding Perch, where I like to talk and share all things crochet. So you ready? Let's go.
First thing you're going to need is either your, I don't know, you want to call it a darning needle or a tapestry needle. I think one and the same. Now I always have a plastic one on hand and also a little metal one. Just depends on the project that I am doing. I think for this one I'm going to go ahead and use my metal one because it is smaller, a little bit thinner, and easier to get in between the tight little spots. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is turn your work over. You want the wrong side facing you. You're going to tuck in your ends behind the wrong side. You never want to tuck it in on the right side. The right side is the front facing, the nice side, just in case, because you don't want like little frayed end tips poking out every once in a while. So you just want to prevent that. So I hope that made sense. So you always want the wrong side facing you. If you have a hard time trying to figure out which side is the wrong side, look at the stitches. See here on the back side of the stitch, I can see this horizontal line. To me, that's the indication that that's the back of the stitch. On the front of the stitch, you don't have that. You can even look at the finishing look of the stitch itself. These here look very nice and finished. Flip it over, is a little bit more rougher and not as finished. Also, another indication is, might be hard to tell on this black yarn, but you see the top of the V on the top of the stitch. Let me find another piece here. See the top of the V here? If that's facing you, that's indication that this is the right side. The wrong side, you can't see the V, the crotch of that stitch. It's hiding. And once again, there are those horizontal lines in the stitch that show me that this is the wrong side. Okay, now that we have that established, let's flip this bad boy over. This one I started with a magic ring. So as always with a magic ring, you want to make sure you pull it tight. And because they can come undone, I always put a little knot with my tail before I start weaving in my ends. So let's get the needle on. All right. Make sure it's tight. I'm going to do a little knot. So just go right next to it. Go about under a stitch or two. Doesn't have to be anything big. And one little knot will help secure it. So now when I tuck in ends, I always make sure I go behind like colors. So when I tuck in this white, I'm going to stick to the white. I am not going to tuck this in behind the black because you do have to run the risk of seeing it bleed through on the front side, on the right side of your work. So for this one, I always like to go around the magic ring. So I'm just going to go ahead and easily and nicely, without poking through to the front, just along the back, go in between some of those stitches. So you cannot see my hook from the front because I'm not poking it through all the way through, just through like the back fibers of the stitch. I'm going to pull that through. Give a nice little tug. See that knot? It kind of just disappears a little bit. Okay, and then always give a little stretch because you don't want your work to pucker. And I'm going to go back through one more time this way. And when I do that, I'm trying to make it so you can see it. This is where the thread's coming out on the stitch. So I'm going to go over just a little bit. So if I went into this one, the whole thing will probably come undone. So I'm going over just by about one more stitch, a little fiber over, and then weave it through the back again. And also by doing this, you're kind of weaving it back through the section that you already did. All right. And this is not, it's not a lot, it's just a little bit. I'm going to give it a nice little pull, and I'm going to trim it as close as I can to my work without getting my work. And then I always give it a nice little tug. Okay. And you can't see that on the other side. All right, so let's do the black one here. First, okay, got my black on the thread. I know black's gonna be a little bit harder to see. And once again, I just go behind the light color. So I'm going to stick right behind the black, and I'm going to put the fibers on the back part of the stitch. Pull it through. Now I noticed when I did that, see the whole thing kind of caved in, look. See how it's caving in a little bit? That's why I always, before I go back through, I pull it back out, straighten it back out, so there's no puckering. And then I go straight through the same spot, but I go over one more stitch. So I only go over about twice. You can do it 3 times if you want. I feel like if I go over it 3 times, it gets really bulky in that spot. So, and going over twice really works for me well. I've never had any complaints. I've never had any work fall apart on me. Okay, so here, let's do the purple. Oh, let's trim this one off. There we go. Voila. All right, let's do the purple real quick. Also, if you want to do a knot on every tail, you can. Sometimes I do that because when I sell my work, I want to make sure I have the quality's good and it's not going to fall apart on anyone. So I like to do a little knot before every tail. You're not going to see it because it gets tucked in underneath. Okay, so for this one, it'll be a little trickier. I think I might bring it up and go across up here. Just go right behind the stitch, not all the way through. Okay, and now I'm going to cross over. Just very gently weave my needle behind the same color. We'll tug and go back. So this is where I came out, so I'm going to go over a little bit. Put it right through the same line. We'll tug. Let's trim that one. So that is how I do it. So I still got these 3 to go, but yeah, I think you get the gist of it, right? Let me know if you got any questions in the comments. And if you're not already following me, give me a follow.